Hey, good morning. Today is Monday, April the 29th, 2024, and the time now is 7:18 a.m. So today I'm going to talk about practicality and theory, or theory and practicality. Doesn't matter which order you want to put them in. I'm going to talk about practicality and theory in reference to some concepts that are often discussed in and around the world today. Okay, we are talking about, for example, free market, corporatism or corporatization. We are talking about capitalism and so on and so on. So, in our modern discourse, especially in the West, pertaining to economics, how people live their lives, freedom, and all that concept, the idea of free market, it is often propagated, especially when Western thinkers want to differentiate themselves from the rest of the world, or what I mean, differentiate the West from the rest of the world, in trying to tell the rest of the world how backward the rest of the world is and how sophisticated and advanced the rest of the West is. Now, in terms of the difference between theory and practicality, I am going to read two definitions. I just wanted to use those. I didn't want to just give my own definition, put it in my own word. I just want to explain the concept, the theory, okay, the definition in terms of the literal dictionary meaning, and then I will give you the figurative, practical meaning in terms of how things applies to our everyday lives. Okay, look, you may hear one thing, in practice, it is totally a different thing. Now, theory versus practicality. Theory is simply defined as a set of principles on which the practice of an activity is based. I am going to repeat that. Once again, theory is simply defined as a set of principles on which the practice of an activity is based. So basically, I want to go and do something, I focus my activity or my ability or my willingness to do such thing based on the guided principles, the theory. On the other hand, practicality is defined as the quality or the state of being practiced. Once again, practicality is defined as the quality or state of being practiced. That is the quality, okay, how, okay, the extent or the state to which or of which something, an activity is being practiced. Now, I am going to talk about the concept of free markets, okay? Free markets, when you hear about free markets, when you hear Westerners, okay, Western thinkers, basically white men, when they talk about the concept of free markets, they stress the idea that free market is a market system, okay, an economic, a social, or a political system in which the market is free. That is, the market is free to do whatever the market wants. And in fact, when they talk about free market, okay, when I was young, it appeared to me as if the market is a living thing, like it is some guy chilling somewhere. Okay, they often use phrases or term their conversation in a manner that sounds such as the market will decide. Of course, what they are saying is, in terms of free markets, we the people decide. That means I want to go and buy a new shirt, as you see my nice orange shirt with black stripes. I'm going to go and buy it. Okay, I like orange. I like this kind or this type of shirt. Okay, what they say, it is a golf shirt or whatever. Because I like this shirt and I want to buy it, somebody who makes such materials and product go and produce, and then I go and purchase. They are not controlled by the government. Okay, that's the concept or the idea that is often propagated. That means the government doesn't have to indicate or decide what should be produced and how much should be produced, or why or how they should be produced. Things are produced based on the wants and the needs of me, okay, the consumer, of you, of them, of all of us, the consumers. So that's the whole concept of free market that is often propagated, okay? So basically, you have a market system that is controlled by some individual or some corporation, okay? The property owner, the owners of industries for profit. They manufactured, they ship or distribute their product based on the wants and the needs of me, of you, of all of us. They are not manufacturing and distributing because the government is saying so. Because in that case, they could be manufacturing, they could be shipping or distributing more than what is being desired, okay, or demanded. So I just want to stress that. Now, I am not an expert. I just want to share an opinion, share an idea based on how I see or how I have heard it talked about. But I want to ask several questions. Free market. What is a free market? Is a free market free? If so, for whom and to do what? To what degree should a market be free and why? Why should a market be free? How should a market be free? For whom should a market be free and why? To do what? Now, what I've understand free market to be in terms of the practical aspect of it is a political and economic system, a social, a cultural system where the corporations, the individuals, okay, the owners of industries, they basically control the government. You have a system where the government has no control over the market, or in this case, the individuals and the corporation that owns industries. And in many cases, they don't pay taxes. They control the government in that they bribe the government. And one thing I've come to understand about the concept of free market and government or capitalism today, especially in terms of votes, election, the corporations, the individuals who owns the means of production, because they fund the campaigns of the government officials, they tend to get away with everything. And in many cases, the governments and the corporations do the bids of these corporations or these individuals who owns the means of production. And as a result, they don't pay tax. They violate the rules and regulations, even the ones that they themselves propagate or they influence the government officials in passing. They are not paying taxes. They violate the environment and so on, and violate their employees, and they get away with it. So the whole concept of free market, as I understand it to be, is a form of market or political system in which the government is weak enough that it doesn't do anything to the corporation. It doesn't hold them accountable. And the corporations are big and powerful enough and are free to exploit all of us, to take complete advantage over us without any accountability. The concept of free market also corresponds to the idea of big and small government. Now, the concept of big and small government, I often hear Republicans and people in the right discussing such ideas. So, the idea of small government is a government that basically doesn't bother the people, okay, or the corporation, doesn't raise tax hire or doesn't tax the corporations or the big guys, the money buckets who control or who owns the means of production. But honestly, in practice, I've come to acknowledge that a small government, okay, as the corporation sees it, is a government that is weak to do the bids of the people, a government that they control. It is very interesting in terms of American politics when you hear many talk about the concept of big and small government. It is so romanticized, so simplified to the point where you, the average person, you think, wow, yes, small government is good. The government is corrupt. The government is too oppressive. We need a small government. We don't need a government that is all over us. It sounds very good because in this case, the government has taken the role or the name, the title of the devil. The government is the devil. Okay? And the concept of small government itself seemed to be romanticized, and it is the savior. So for the average man, the whole concept of small government sounds very good because you think the government is oppressive and you want to be free. However, in practice, a small government for you as an individual, as an average person, a small government is a bad thing that you do not want. Because when the government is small enough, okay, where it is weak financially, it is weak in terms of power, it doesn't control, it doesn't hold the corporations and the individuals, okay, the money buckets who control the means of production. It doesn't hold them accountable. And as a result, these guys are going about doing whatever the heck they want. They are violating all of us. The concept of a free market, it sounds very good in terms of the theoretical aspect of it. But in terms of the practical aspect of it, a free market, as it is being practiced, it is bad because we have a system in which corporations are free to do whatever they want, to violate all of us. It is the same thing with the concept of big and small government. Nobody wants a big government, at least that's how it is often propagated in the United States, that a big government is a menace to society and that a small government is the ideal government. However, I've come to acknowledge or accept the fact that a small government, it is actually the threat because the government that is small to do whatever, okay, the bids of the people, the government that is small in terms of its ability to hold corporations accountable, the government that is small to change, okay, to mend the environment, to provide for the people, that government is an ineffective government. It is very interesting how we want small government when it pertains to corporations and the money buckets. We want small government so that they can enjoy. But when it comes to helping regular people, we say the government is too big. So what I find to be very interesting but disappointing is that whenever the conversation is about providing for the average man, okay, providing healthcare, social welfare for the average man, making sure that the average people in the world, okay, or in the West, they do have safety net. They have means by which they can help themselves. Whenever the conversation is about such things, such reality, we often hear the money buckets, those who control the means of production. Okay, we are talking about the individuals or the corporations. And then you have those who, whether they're average people or not, who have subscribed, okay, or accept the concept of free markets or the concept of big government or small government based on how these concepts are explained in terms of the theoretical aspect of it. Okay, they tend to propagate the notion whenever the conversation is about helping the average man that the government is too big and that the average man is a wuss, whatever the word is. The average man doesn't work or doesn't deserve the help, or the average man is a useless either. Okay, but then in terms of practice, when the conversation is about corporation, you have the concept, okay, in terms of the practical aspect of it, of big government that goes in action. Okay, the government is very big when it's about helping the corporations. Okay, when it's about cutting tax for the rich and powerful, the government becomes very big. The government gives them what they want. Okay, but when it's about helping the average man, when it's about holding corporations accountable, then people are saying they want small government. The government is too big. The government should not hold them accountable. When the government taxes them, then the government is a useless government. It's a corrupt government. It's an oppressive government. I know you are confused, and I am confused as well. This is a concept, okay, that is very difficult to explain, okay? When we talk about free market or big and small government, it works either way. But from the way I've seen it practice, they often scream that the government is too big when the government is trying to hold the money buckets accountable. When the government is trying to make them to pay tax, when the government is trying to hold them accountable, force them to respect the environment, the government is too big. But if the government is big, too big, as long as the corporations, the money buckets, those who control the means of production, as long as they are benefiting, they don't say anything about the government. In truth, you see a big government that is going out there making war all the time. A government is at war and corporations are benefiting. They never say anything. So you have big government that is borrowing money to go to war, borrowing money to benefit the corporation. When it is about social welfare and the government tries to borrow money, then the government is too oppressive. The government is too corrupt. The government is running the country into debt. So it is very interesting. Some of these concepts, the theory and the practical aspect of it is blatantly obvious in terms of the fallacies that result, okay, between theoretical aspects and practical aspects. Once again, I do apologize. I know you are confused, okay? I am confused as well. Now, in terms of capitalism, you have an economic system, okay, or a system that is defined as a political and economic system, okay, in which the means of production, basically the industry, is controlled by individuals and corporations for profit. Okay, that's capitalism. But honestly, in terms of the practical aspect of it, it seems as if capitalism is corporatization, but it is nothing short of materialism. Capitalism is corporatization. Corporations run everything. Corporations control the government. Corporations insert their representations or representatives in the government. But capitalism today, in practice, it seems to be nothing short of materialism. And it is not as if the materialism comes from us, the people, like we just want and want and want, or need and need and need. It is as if we are forced to wanting and to needing. For example, many of us out there, we go out and buy something. We may think that we are doing so because we want such things or because we need such thing. Okay? As much as wants and needs, the difference between both is that a want is something that it's your desire. A need is something that you must have. Okay? For example, I want this shirt, so I went and got it because I like it. I do not need this shirt to survive. I need my air to survive. I need shelter for the night, for every day. I need food. I need employment, okay, for my basic livelihood, okay? Having an employment in today's world or in any world is a basic human tendency, okay? A basic human aspect or requirement for living. We need jobs. We need air. We need shelter. We need food. For this particular shirt, I don't need it. I got it because I like it, because I want it. Okay? But we are going out there every day and getting things. Honestly, it's not because we need them, and to an extent, not because we want them, because we are forced to get them. I don't know how to clearly explain this concept, but we are in a system that is corrupt, that is just materialism at the worst level. Okay? We are getting things that we do not need because we are forced to, because we are a very self conscious society. We're living at a time where the human beings, we've been conditioned to be self conscious. We've been conditioned to have anxiety about the basic thing, the simplest things. We've been conditioned to have self-esteem problem, internal and external issue that are strongly rooted in our emotional and psychological state, which is not healthy for us individually and as society. I think the simplest way that I can explain the concept of materialism in this piece is that we are forced and pushed to the extreme to want things. We are forced to accept the status quo. We are conditioned to like things, to not think, because our daily lives, everything we do is depend on a level of happiness that is socially constructed. I am going to look into this much further because it is very difficult for me to explain this concept that I want to get myself around, but it is something that I've been grappling with. I've been thinking about for a long time. Okay? But I'm going to end here. Thank you very much for watching The Echoing Voice. But please tell me what you think. Participate. That means engage in this discussion. Help me answer these questions. Help me understand these concepts that I want to get my head around. Once again, thank you. Peace.